Hello. I hope everyone's doing okay. I've got a short story for you today. It's not my own story. It's one that I've heard before. I think it's originally from Africa, but I'm not 100% sure. It's called the Yammering Yam. A yam is a vegetable that grows under the ground. I don't have a yam, but the closest thing I do have is a sweet potato. So this is my sweet potato. So it's like a yam. In fact, in America, they do call sweet potatoes yams. So if I was American, technically I could say I do have a yam. So the story is called Yammering Yam. So I'll explain that yammering, that just means to chatter, to talk. So have you ever heard of a talking yam? Neither had our farmer in our story. Once there was a farmer called Kofi, and he headed out early one morning with his dog to pull up the yams in his field. Now, I explained in my last story I don't have a dog, Teddy, or puppet, so I've got a wombat here, but he's impersonating a dog, so he's our dog today. Woof, 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 woof. While the farmer was pulling up a particularly big yam, he heard a voice. "Go away! I'm not ready!" He looked around him. There was no one there but the dog. "Was that you?" he asked. "No," said the dog. "That was the Yammering Yam. I'm ready for anything." "Ah!" The farmer screamed, and off he ran. He ran to the beach and over the sand. But dogs can't talk, and neither can yams." "Oh, yes, they can," called the Yammering Yam. At the beach there was a fisherman who was sat cleaning a fish that he'd just pulled out of the water. "What's the rush?" he said to the farmer. "Well," said the farmer, "first my yam told me to go away, and then my dog spoke to me." The fisherman, "But yams and dogs can't talk." "Oh, yes, they can," said the fish. "And by the way, throw me back into the sea." "Ah!" The fisherman threw the fish back into the sea, and he ran with the farmer. They ran through the forest, and they came to a hut where a woman was putting her clothes out to dry on a bush. "What's the rush?" said the woman, as the fisherman and the farmer ran up to her. "Well," said the farmer, "first my yam told me to go away, and then my dog spoke to me." "Yeah," said the fisherman, "and then my fish told me to throw it back into the sea." "Don't be silly," said the lady. "Yams and dogs and fish can't talk." "Oh, yes, they can," said the T-shirt. "And by the way, hang me up on a line. This bush is too prickly." The lady threw the T-shirt down, and off she ran with the farmer and the fisherman. They ran and they ran through the village to the hut of the chief. Now, the chief was a very important man in the village. He's kind of a little bit in charge, and he's who you might go to if you've got a problem. They ran into the chief's hut, and the chief said to them, "Hold on, what's the rush?" "Well," said the farmer, "first my yam told me to go away, and then my dog spoke to me." And said the fisherman, "My fish told me to throw it back into the sea." "Yeah, and my T-shirt told me to hang it up on a line," said the lady. Laughed the chief. What nonsense! But yams and dogs and fish and clothes can't talk. Off you go. Go away. Stop wasting my time," he said. The farmer, the fisherman, and the lady went out of the hut feeling a little bit foolish. When they'd left, the chief sat down on his old chair. Now, the chief, he was quite a big man. He sat down, and as he sat, the chair went ee. As he sat there, he mumbled to himself, "Talking yams, talking dogs, talking fish, talking clothes. Who ever heard of such nonsense?" "I have," said the chair. "And by the way, You're far too heavy to be sitting on my old frame. Get off!" The chief jumped up and off he ran. "So now you all know," sighed the Yammering Yam as it wriggled back down into the soil. "That's why you must listen to everyone and everything, and make sure you always treat them all with respect." I hope you enjoyed our story today. I thought that the yam's message is quite an important one for the moment. I know we are all stuck at home, which means that we are spending a lot more time with our family. Well, a lot of us are. So I know that's really lovely, but it can also be quite frustrating spending time with the same people. But just make sure that you are listening to each other, as the yam says. You're listening to each other's wants and needs and treating each other with respect. I know that when you're stuck at home, you might be having to play with the same toys or use the same things quite a lot, and after quite a few weeks now you might have got a little bit bored with some of the things you're using at home. And I know when that happens that sometimes we forget to treat our things kindly and with respect. So I know maybe you might have been playing with your toys and you've spread them all out over the living room. So when you finish playing with them, what do you think you should do? Tidy them up. So I know perhaps your toys and your belongings can't talk to you, but I think if they could, they might say to you, "Oi, pick me up, put me away. I don't want to be left on the floor to be trodden on." Yeah, so just make sure you're treating everyone and everything with respect and kindness. Thanks for listening, and hopefully I'll see you again soon for another story. Bye!